Hello everybody, welcome back to another TCM video today. Today we're going over the next patch notes that just came out for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now I know the last time I made a video covering the patch notes, I basically vocalized how disappointed I was for the game's first update. I felt like they focused too much on fixing very niche bug fixes and issues that only affected a very small amount of players. And I felt like the game had a lot of persisting bug issues and issues with the content that was currently in the game that they basically missed out on completing and fixing for the sake of our enjoyment. The first set of patch notes, which was a very small set of patch notes, it didn't really seem to cover any of the issues that would basically make the game a lot more fun, such as removing certain animations, reducing matchmaking and loading time, fixing game-breaking bugs when it came to some of the traps that were laid, or the way that the characters interacted with some of the survivors. Basically, a lot of the things I felt like were more important that the game should have focused on for the first update wasn't there, and I think now with this update, we might be getting something a little bit different that's a little bit more impactful. So I'm excited to go over the patch notes, and I hope you guys are too. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so we got the patch notes for September 12th, 2023. I'm slightly late to this, but we got a bunch of patch notes here. We're going to basically start from the very beginning. So the first thing they fixed was the victim trapped collision issue. It says that they resolved an issue where victims who are trapped and then lose collision and control when trying to use a gap afterwards. So this issue is not only an issue related to the hitchhiker traps and victims, and says to provide additional info on the additional issues with the hitchhiker traps and victims, please use a different thread. So yeah, resolving the issue with the victims who are trapped then lose collision control when trying to use a gap afterward. So that sounds like a persistent bug and stuff that happened with a family member, the hitchhiker, where people were having collision and control issues when they were trying to use like wall gaps after getting trapped, which I think, again, this is already a really good start to an update, because now you're fixing like genuine gameplay mechanical issues that the game launched with that people were having struggles with when it came to facing the hitchhiker and other characters. There's only so many things you can interact with as a victim, and obviously you don't want to die, and you want the things that you're interacting with to work, at least if this is the balance you want to do for the game. So when you're a victim trying to utilize the stuff in your environment to try to escape killers, it gets really frustrating and things are not working as intended. The next thing that they fixed was the perking up achievement. They fixed an issue with the perking up achievement, causing it not to unlock, and then they basically tell and encourage achievement hunters to carry on trying to unlock achievements. For people who are looking to 100% Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm very happy for those people, but this is one of those issues where, again, just kind of like the first patch notes, it's a very niche type of thing. I don't know how many people are actually trying to achievement hunt for a multiplayer game. It's a little bit more difficult, a little bit different, but you know what, if that's an issue that was affecting a large variety of people and that was getting a lot of complaints, I'm happy the developers fixed that here. The next thing that they fixed was the continue on lobby end screen. It says this issue is causing all active players to wait the full timer when choosing to continue to the next match due to disconnected players. This will help speed up the process of matchmaking to the next match for active players. This, I'm actually really happy that they fixed. This was an issue that I was persistently getting a lot. When you basically were ending your game, a lot of the times, like this is subscribing, you have to wait the full timer when trying to continue to the next match, which the whole purpose of having the ability to continue to another match at the end of a match screen is to allow players to quickly transition and matchmake to a new match to keep playing the game and not have to wait as long by going back to the main menus and going through all the matchmaking process through the quick play with the killer and victim roles. So whenever this was broken and this was not working as efficiently, you have to go back basically to the main menu anyways, because you either have to wait the full timer there or just try to circumvent that and go back to the menus and try to get back into the matchmaking quicker. A lot of times for me too, a lot of the times what was happening was to end that continue on end screen. It was actually not working at all to try to hit the spacebar or whatever the button it prompt is to move to the next match. It just wasn't working. So I have to like actually close my game and fully bring it back up to finally be able to continue into the match because I was stuck from a bug. So this is one of those things where I say, good on them. Any way to basically make matchmaking into getting into the gameplay faster is always a good thing. People don't want to sit in lobbies when they're playing a multiplayer game. People want to be sitting and playing the game and having fun with their friends or having fun with the online community. The next thing that they fixed was the continue missing from custom game end screen. They resolved an issue where the continue option was missing from the end screen of custom games. Good bug fix in my opinion. I don't really play this game as a party game. I don't really have necessarily much friends or any friends to the matter. So when I'm playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I know I'm a filthy solo queue player. I'm just playing just to try and have fun by myself and see what I can have fun with the game mechanics. But for people who are, a lot of people who are playing this game, who are playing with their friends and family, etc., this is a really important thing to do because, well, again, people want to play the game. People don't want to sit in lobbies. People don't want to sit in end screens. You got the people that make the game function when you're trying to bring these features. Because if you could properly implement these features as to where people can just re-queue back into the next match, it brings a lot of value to the game. It makes a lot more replayability. It's always a good thing to make people faster into the matches. Especially since the game already gives the features for people to interact with their builds and upgrade their characters while they're waiting for other players to queue into their matches. The next thing that they changed was the battery match start state. The card battery now start out on and be powered up by default. This will help family members get to the task at hand to set up for the match faster. I agree with this change. A lot of the times what's happening here is a lot of victims are speedrunning the objectives and they're trying to get out really fast, and people who are new to the game or people who are trying to race to get to these objectives to be able to turn these batteries on and protect them are having problems trying to put the pressure on, especially if the game starts with only 2 killers, because survivors are basically at that point completely, victim sided. They are very capable of getting these objectives done and basically end the match within 2 seconds because they're escaping. Some of these maps really required these batteries to start on for the family members to actually even have a chance. Okay, so I fully agree with this. I think this is going to be really nice for maps such as the gas station, where people can just kind of easily cheese throughout the one door if they have enough toolbox lockpicks and have to circumvent the battery cars and everything else anyways, the generators. So it makes sense. Okay, if you're going to have like the pressure valve, if you're going to have the electric gates with the generators, if you're going to have the fuse box, if you're going to have everything already start on / like take it apart by default, it only makes sense that you would do the same thing for car batteries. For killers to have to basically go and turn that on when everything else objective-wise the game is usually on, it doesn't really make sense. It's not very consistent, and it really leaves some vulnerabilities to family for victim members to not necessarily exploit, but take advantage of to get out of the match really fast. So this is a good change, considering that the game is definitely a bit victim side if you have a really good party of people who know what they're doing. They also changed the respec and lobbies option. They removed the option to respec characters in match lobbies. You could still edit the character loadouts and spend any unused skill points, but they would have to be done in the main menu. I'm okay with this change. I think it would be healthy for the matchmaking stuff, because a lot of people who are respecing and taking away all their skill points for characters and restarting, it's making the matches take forever to start, because that people are maximizing the entire 4 minutes or so, however long it takes to get into the game. And there is a time and a place for it, and that's going to be the main menu. Just like Dead by Daylight or other games, if you want to upgrade your characters, you need to be able to do so at the main menu. If you want to be able to upgrade your characters, you shouldn't be doing it in the middle of matchmaking. It's making it take way longer to get into a game. And again, people want to play the game. Okay, people that want to upgrade their characters, they can do that in the lobby. I think it works better both ways. The people who want to play the game want to get into games faster, and the people who want to be able to upgrade their characters and respec them probably don't want to be interrupted while they're trying to respect their characters from the match starting, right? So it makes a good habit, good hobby to tell people, hey, use the main menu UI, go through that if you want to upgrade your characters and respect them, and for people who want to play, continue on to your matches. That's a good thing. You should be happy about that. Another thing they changed was they tuned the bone scrap limits. Bone scrap piles are now limited to 3 uses per pile. This is just one step in terms of balancing the scrap usage and frequency. I don't really see too much utility when it comes to bone scraps. I understand it makes it frustrating when every time you try to kill a survivor, it could get you into the grapple stage, and a lot of the times, if they upgraded their character stats, they could beat you as a family member through the one-on-one interaction of fighting with a bone scrap. So it is definitely something that's annoying that I understand is a slight buff for family members and a bit slight nerf for victim members, but at the same time, I think enough bone scrap piles spawn in the map where I don't think this is going to change how the gameplay feels. I think people are still going to be having plenty of bone scraps and stuff. I don't think it's going to be really any less annoying for family members. People usually rush toolboxes anyways, so people that rush toolboxes, and at that point, I mean, do I really care if at least I get the interaction with the survivor? Do I really care if they I almost want them to utilize the bone scraps more, so I have more of a chase, which is the fun part of playing a family member, versus them just all tunneling toolboxes. So we'll see how this basically impacts the gameplay. They tuned the lobby timer to 3 minutes. This is the best part of this entire update. Hell yes, okay? They basically added the lobby timer. In the last patch, to give it more time to fill lobbies, but the community generally disliked the change, and we have therefore reverted back to standard 3 minutes. Okay, great change, and thank you for listening to the community developers. I don't know who greenlit this idea, but people want to play the game. People are trying to matchmake. They want to get into the game. They don't want to wait longer to get into the game. So giving people more time to fill lobbies, or giving people more time to upgrade their characters and to respec characters in the lobby is really bad for the health of the game. People want to play the game. If people have to send too many lobbies and loading screens, people are just going to naturally quit the game. People don't want to do that. People want to play the gameplay, make people upgrade their characters in the main menu like most other games do. There's a reason why they don't mix the two. So reducing the lobby timers step back to 3 minutes is good. I still think it could be a little bit better, but 3 minutes is definitely a start. They probably don't want to make it any shorter because we're trying to make sure that people actually fill up matches, etc. And the last thing that we got here is that they tuned the further anti-cheat tuning and improvements. They said, we have continued our work with the anti-cheat and are one step closer to reintegrating PC into crossplay, though we are not just there yet. Players encountering usage of cheats and or hacks in public PC lobbies, please continue to report them via support. Okay, again, I understand their position on this, but this is also something that I wish they handle a little bit better, because this is the reality. I understand console players, both PlayStation and Xbox players, they don't want to have to be forced to play with PC players who are hacking and cheating because it's ruining their experiences. I understand, I'm sympathetic to that situation, but at the same time, like I was discussing before, basically separating PC players from console players for crossplay is now forcing PC players to run into these hackers far more often than they once did, because now they only have the PC community pool to be playing with, which is basically punishing PC players for as long as they turn off the crossplay, because now we are forced to play with more hackers by default because our chances of getting into a hacking match is further increased. I'm glad that they're continuing to work on their anti-cheat software, but hackers are always going to exist in the game. They're not going to be completely taken away, just the same way that Dead by Daylight behavior also taking forever to even do anything about cheaters. They got to bring us back into the crossplay system soon. It creates a lot more fun gameplay, a lot more interesting situations, and it would stop punishing specifically one group or community of people because of the cheating situation. Regardless, that's going to be it for me. This could be it for the patch notes. Overall, what do I think about these patch notes? I think it's good. For once, I can say that the majority of things that were updated in this patch, which is, by the way, like another week after the last patch or something like that, it's actually universally good changes. Things that were actually going to improve the experience for a lot of people. Again, the first patch notes were basically just notes that were improving very niche things that didn't really impact tons of people. It was kind of like a nice quality of life update, but for a game that just launched that needed all the major updates that we'd be rolling out, further better the experience of players. It was a miss on all accounts for that first update, but this one I'm happy with, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. I can't see what they're going to do content wise for the game. Granted, I understand, I saw on their posts on Twitter and different forums that these people were basically saying, the developers were saying, hey guys, we understand that you guys want to see more content, but at the same time we want to make sure that what we have in the game works and is functioning as best as possible, as polished as possible, and then they're going to try to roll us out some content. So the game is still new, the game's still fresh. I just hope they don't wait too long and they get some content out here soon to get us something to be excited about. But regardless, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. As always, if you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace out.